Hello everybody, hope you're doing marvelously well. In this episode, we're going to do 3 vocal reverb tips. So today we have 3 vocal tips for you. As ever, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you haven't already, go to producelikeapro.com, sign up for the email list. You get a whole bunch of free goodies and notifications of when we have other lovely videos. Of course, this song that we're going to be using today is Stay by David from the Workday release. And you can download this and mix it as well. Link around about here as well. So don't forget to download this song and try out these techniques and other techniques on it. Okay, so these 3 are fun ways of creating new vocal reverbs. Some of them you may know. Let's get started. The first vocal reverb trick is really an extension of an idea I've been using for quite a while now. And that's basically to use something other than the natural sounding vocal to go into the reverb. Okay, so here's the vocal, and it's got some delays on the moment, but no reverbs.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
Let's turn those off. So let's listen to the vocal dry.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away. Sizing up the line, I've crossed 100 times.
So let's create a stereo auxiliary. Now, I could just choose a reverb. We'll go something stupidly simple and obvious, and that is just use a stock reverb, which would be the D-verb. It's set to, and this is very important, it should be set to 100% at all times. It's on a separate auxiliary. So you see down here where it says 100% wet, that's what you want. Now, if you're going to put it on the vocal itself, then you might want to dial it back to 20% or something like that. But we're not going to do that. And you're going to see why. Now, there's a whole bunch of fun things we can do. So firstly, here is just the reverb on the vocal, soloed the 2 things together.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
Sounds great. That's quite a large, long reverb. We can bring it down, I don't know, we'll bring it down to 2.5 seconds on a medium. I'm not going to do any high pass or low passing. You can see that coming up in a minute. But what we're going to do with this reverb is try some other fun things. Let's try, first of all, putting some saturation on it. That is probably an obvious thing to do, but pretty darn good. And I'm going to go for free comes with my DAW, which in this instance is SansAmp. So let's have a listen.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
I mean, immediately it adds some thickness in there. It's pretty darn good.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
Take out some of the low end.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away. Sizing up the line, I've crossed 100 times.
Okay, so that's fun, putting some saturation on it. It's something that you can experiment with.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
It makes that reverb a little wrong, makes it a little bit more interesting. A lot of you have already seen my mixing vocals video, which is quite successful. It's got like 500,000 views. And on that one, I do an octave down and a distortion trick, and I show you how I blend them together. How about we do an octave up? I'm going to go to pitch shift. There's pitch 2. And just for the heck of it, it's in stereo, so that's kind of nice. We could do both. But let's go to coarse and come up, you guessed it, 12 semitones. And have a listen to that.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
We can crank this so it's unbearable. Have a listen.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
But why don't we sidechain it? So why don't we put a compressor afterwards? Let's grab an R comp. And let's take that input, I don't know, let's make it bus 10 as an input. So we're now going to sidechain it. So you see here where it's got the little key, we're keying it from bus 10. So that's send from the lead vocal. What I'm doing is I'm sending the lead vocal to the compressor after the reverb, and you'll see why.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away. Sizing up the line I've crossed 100 times.
So what it's doing is it's compressing the reverb quite dramatically when David's singing. As soon as he stops singing, the reverb comes up. Okay, sidechain reverb. But that sidechain reverb is being triggered from an octave up. So the ambience that's created afterwards is pretty awesome.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
Now, we could go an octave down. Let's try that. It's just giving you ideas to experiment with.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
So that's pretty evil. Like it. Okay, so we've heard what you can do by putting different pitches into the reverb. Now, let's take it one stage further with the pitch idea. Let's put a heavily affected modulation effect. So let's have a look here. Oh, here's the air flanger. So this is now the vocal going to the flanger. I'm going to turn off, bypass my compressor for a second. I'm going to put the mix to 100%.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away. Sizing up the line up.
What I'm going to do as well is I'm going to go into pre-fade here on my send to my reverb and mute the vocal, so we're only going to hear the effect.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away. Sizing up the line I've crossed 100 times.
Pretty wrong.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away. Sizing up the line I've crossed 100 times.
Okay, that's pretty weird and twisted. Let's drop it back in.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
I like that. I like what that's doing. It's just creating a weird modulation. The pitch is messed up, but the vocal's in tune down the middle.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away. Sizing up the line I've crossed 100 times.
Fantastic. All of these ideas are to take the reverb and treat it in a different way. It's opening our minds to create more space. I feel like if you can create some distance between the reverb and the dry signal, it will help the dry signal stand out further in front. So that's number one, taking your reverbs and messing up the signal going into it, either distorting, flanging, pitch changing, or all of the above. Try that. It's a lot of fun. Okay. The next one we're going to do is a pretty traditional one. This is the quote-unquote Abbey Road reverb trick. I've been talking about this for a long time, doing variations of it. You see that I do it on drums, but let's do it on vocals. This is number 2, the Abbey Road reverb trick. Okay, so what is the secret? Well, first of all, let's just copy down our deverb. We can go a little longer, go to about 4 seconds. Now, here's the reverb on the vocal in solo.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
It's nice. Trying the track.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away. Sizing up the line I've crossed 100 times.
But I'd probably think that was too much, and I would end up turning it down till it's barely there. Then I might compress it so you can hear it more, all the things we do. What the good folks at Abbey Road found was they could use high and low pass filters. So if we take an REQ, Renaissance compressor, and high pass and low pass, we can use their initial idea, which was about 600 hertz. So we'll come up to 600. Could actually just do this, 600. And on this side, it's almost at 10K, but we'll go to 10K. And this was their typical way of doing it. And we can get a bit more aggressive on it if we like. It's quite aggressive on the cue. Let's have a listen now. In solo, first of all, so you can hear the reverb and the vocal.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
Bypassing the EQ, I'm going to listen. I'm going to let it loop a couple of times so you can hear it, and we'll indicate on the screen when it's bypassed. Starting off with the effect on.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away. I landed here with the world 2 steps away. I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
So the volume's changed slightly because, of course, there's less information. There's less low-end information, there's less high-end information going in there. But it's not so much a volume thing, it's just that low end that causes so much muddiness has gone. All the low mids and everything have gone. The high end, where you might hear a lot of pss, 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 has also gone. In vocals, invariably, I usually come down to about 7K on this trick. So if you come down to about 7K-ish, it's going to start to sound better still.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
Love it. We could also sidechain compress it as well. But another nice thing to do is to take out some of this mid-range kind of aggression. So if we go around about 2K-ish in the middle, somewhere around about here, and dip it a little bit, it will get even sweeter.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away. I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
It's a really simple, nice trick. Try it a lot. I know a lot of people do it, and you've probably heard about it from 100 different people, but it's a great trick. Now let's throw our messed up, distorted, pitch change, reverb with sidechain compression on it. Here's the two together.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away. I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
At a lower level, starting to get really interesting.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
I'm going to solo the vocal with the 2 reverbs so you can hear.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
Too much distortion on the other one. I got a little carried away, so we can bring that down a little bit.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away. I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
Really interesting though. Different messed up ways of doing reverb. And if you do this kind of stuff and you EQ into the reverbs, you use a little distortion, you try some ping pong delays, doing these kind of things will give you your own individual vocal effects. There's so many great stock reverbs. I mean, this is Deverb. This is what comes free with Pro Tools. This is the latest version of Pro Tools. We're completely in the box. Now, you could do this in your Reaper, Cubase, Nuendo, you name it, whatever your Reaper, whatever your DAW is, you don't need a big fancy reverb. You can take this and mess with it, and it will be your sound and something that's unique to you. And also, once again, something that's a little twisted and a little weird and harps back to why we originally liked analog stuff, because it was always a little wrong. It wasn't absolutely perfect. Voltages varied. I mean, that's what a lot of techniques were discovered when tape machines were slowed down in the evening because everybody came home and turned on their lights. They would get slower voltages. So 2 tape machines ran at different speeds, and lo and behold, you got some effects that the Beatles discovered. That's the point. The randomness is what makes what we do really, really fun. The last but no means least one is this. Number 3, using 2 mono reverbs that are different. So what do we mean by that? Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we come in and just create 2 mono auxiliaries? I'm going to initially pan one all the way to the left and one all the way to the right. So let's make these solos safe. There we go. Now let's just choose a couple of mono reverbs. And you know what I'm going to do? Yes, I'm going to go for a mono deverb, and I'm going to do one as a plate, and I'm going to make it, I don't know, we'll make it at completely different times. We'll make it just about a second. Mono plate on one side. Again, it's set to 100% wet. And then we'll just copy this down here, but we won't go mono plate. We'll go room, and we'll go to, I don't know, a little bit longer a room. So it's a large room, shorter time. So let's have a listen now to those 2 reverbs. One's panned left, one's panned right.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
Here is the left only. And again, because we're in pre-fade, we can mute the vocal.
I landed here with the world 2 steps
So there's the plate on the left. Here's our room reverb on the right. They're quite different. Together. Put the vocal in.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
Now it's nice. It definitely creates width on the sides. But I think the thing that we're going to love most of all is to take those 2 reverbs, pan them in a little bit more to the center. So let's go about 30-30. Now let's have a listen.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
Really nice. Pushes it forward. Hear it in the track.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away. Sizing up the line, I've crossed 100 times.
Now we could Abbey Road it, but we've already got that one. You know, you think I'm crazy. We've got 3 different reverbs going on. You can group them all together. You can favor different ones in different sections. But now, a little taste of each one of these reverbs.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away.
Solo.
Sizing up the line, I've crossed 100 times.
Do you know how many times I've sat in rooms with great mixers and I've seen 3, 4, 5 reverb units going at all times? And they're sitting there and they're blending all the reverbs. We've gone and used only a stock reverb, but we've created totally different sounds of each one of those reverbs. You know, you may not have 5 really expensive pieces of hardware reverbs, but you sure as heck have a free reverb that comes with your stock DAW. So it's a pretty nice effect. So throw in the delays and let's see what the vocal sounds like now.
I landed here with the world 2 steps away. Sizing up the line, I've crossed 100 times. Taking count of all the nights considered lost. Holding tight to who we were before I knew of all the dirt and
I love it. So that's my delays with my 3 different reverb techniques. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please download the cheat sheet. The cheat sheet will describe this and give you these ideas and of course, I hope spark off many more. What are the kind of things that you do? What kind of ideas do you think would work? I mean, delays could work really well. Detuned ping pong delays going into reverbs. Slapback delays, distorted slapback delays going to reverbs. These are the kind of fun things that we're looking for to just twist it up, to take it away from the regular, to make our mixes feel individual. I know there's 1,000 YouTube videos out there telling you the same way to do everything, but the reality is like, let's mess it up. Let's get creative. Let's create individuality. Grow your own creativity and create unique mixes that only you can do, your individual sounds. And you can see that you don't have to necessarily go out and buy 1,000 plugins. Don't get me wrong, there are lots of plugins I love that make my life significantly easier. But when it comes to the kind of creative stuff like this, all of the things that you need are available inside of your DAW. I didn't have to use an R-comp. I didn't even have to use the REQ. I love those plugins, but I could have done it with just the stock plugin. That was a very, very simple EQ curve that you can create using high pass and low pass and dipping the mid-range. Any compressor that has a sidechain inside of your DAW could do the compression. And as you know, the distortion comes free with Pro Tools. I'm sure your particular DAW also has a free distortion, saturation, whatever you want to call it. Flanging, you may or may not have that, but pitch changing of any description can be done. Pitch changing into delays, so you can have randomness going into reverbs. Think about all these things that can create a bed of a little wrongness that your vocal can sit in, that will give it some energy, especially in a modern pop world. I get given stuff sometimes that's so heavily tuned that I am looking for wrong ways to do things. Wrong ways, not right ways, but wrong ways. It's like working with very heavily programmed drums. Doing slightly out of time distorted delays gives my track some energy and gives me wrongness. I'm always looking for wrongness. This is the stuff that isn't predictable. It's the stuff that makes your track sound interesting and edgy. And even with that high octave, you didn't really know it was there, and you can bring it down just so it's in there, just creating just enough tension and weirdness to it that it makes the vocal feel even more special. So have a blast. Please download the cheat sheet. Let me know what ideas you have. What have you done? What have you seen other people do? What ideas do you have? Let's share some really good tips and tricks. Have a marvelous time recording. Please don't forget to subscribe, like the video, hit the like button, please, and leave me a comment. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.